Good morning. Thank you for joining me for today's edition of Status Sharing. I'm Beth Wade, and today we're going to work on some gentle back and leg strengtheners with using a chair for support. So we'll begin by doing some mindful breathing as we always do. Today I'd like to practice that mindful breathing in an upright position and bringing the feet together in a bound angle posture. And the idea here is that we're going to use the abdominals to support this upright position. Now the legs are nice and wide, and that's going to help us open up the hips a little bit more. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can feel free to lean back on your hands for your first few repetitions, or you can reach forward. If you're feeling crowded when you reach forward, I would suggest starting by leaning back on the hands. And we'll just begin with that belly breath, inhaling, filling the belly, exhaling, pulling the navel to the spine. And then adding the ribs, inhaling, filling the belly, feeling the ribs spread, and then pulling the ribs together, pulling the belly in. So belly, ribs, ribs, belly. And then finally adding on the chest. And as we exhale, the chest flattens toward the back, the ribs come together, the navel pulls to the spine, and that last step is exhaling all the breath out so that we make a mental connection with the pelvic floor. It's that pelvic floor connection that stimulates the body to open up and take another breath. Fill the belly, ribs, chest and shoulders. Exhale, shoulders, chest, ribs, belly, pelvic floor. Now, you may want to emphasize this a little bit by leaning back to fill the belly and then exhale, pulling everything in so that you get a slight curve through the lower back at the very bottom of the breath. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and lean forward, reaching out for either the ankles, the ends of the toes, whatever feels appropriate here. But again, I want to inhale, fill, exhale, pull the front to the back. Now I'm exaggerating the breathing a little bit because I want it to be visible in the camera. And then from here, I'm just going to go back to my regular breath and just allow the hips to open. As I exhale, I'm not going to focus so much on actively pulling the belly back as I am just softening through the hips. So there still is an expansion and a contraction through the core and belly. But on the exhalation, my main focus now is just softening through the hips. And then from here, I'm going to inhale, bring myself back to an upright position, extend both of the legs, and gently lean forward. Now, I want to keep the back nice and long. So if I can't do that, One option is to bring my hands to the floor, open up my shoulders, and use my hands to lengthen my spine and just lean forward as much as is appropriate for you. So as we exhale and the navel pulls to the spine, it makes a little more space for us to move forward. And then from here, I'm going to inhale. As I exhale, gently push forward with my left leg, pull backward with my right leg, and then switch. So inhale, exhale, push forward left, pull back right. Inhale, switch. Exhale, feel that stretch. Inhale, switch. Exhale, stretch. Inhale, switch. Exhale, stretch. One more time. Inhale, switch. Exhale, stretch. Now from here, we're going to come back to an upright position. You can either reach with your hands toward your toes or reach for your ankles or your calves, or even place your hands underneath your thighs. All we're going to do here is inhale, lengthen, press that rear end out so that you're anchoring the butt cheeks to the floor. And as you inhale, you're going to lengthen the back. As you exhale, we're going to relax slightly as we pull the navel to the spine. So inhale, lengthen the back, anchor those butt cheeks. Exhale, and I'm going to turn to the side even a little more so you can see that we're rotating the hips forward to increase that stretch through the backs of the thighs. And then as we exhale, we can rotate the hips back again. Two more here. Inhale, lengthen. Last time in. And then from here, we're going to gently roll to one side and come up onto the knees. We're going to do again, a gentle stretch for the upper back and triceps, bringing the elbows to the chair and just gently dropping the head toward the floor. Remember, if this is too much for you, walk your knees in a little bit more. And if it's bothersome for your knees, place a blanket between your thighs and your calves. Inhale, reach the elbows forward. Exhale, sit the hips back on the heels. So the inhale, that's our lengthening, expanding phase. The exhale, on this set of exhales, we're just kind of relax a little bit. Think about inhaling and lengthening. Exhale, sink to the floor. One more deep breath in. And as we exhale, we'll come back up off of the chair. We're going to have a seat on the chair now. And I'm just going to have you, we're going to be doing a hip strengthener, a hip and leg strengthener here. We'll come off of the chair. The feet are about hip width apart. Now the arms are going to stay straight. So this is not a dip. This is a gentle press with the hips to work through the backs of the legs and the gluteals. So we'll inhale, lengthen through the back. exhale, pull the navel to the spine and press the hips toward the ceiling. You want a nice straight line from the knees to the shoulders. Inhale, lengthen from the hips through the crown of the head. Exhale, press. Inhale, exhale, press. We'll do 2 more of those. Exhale, press. Last one. Exhale, press. Now hold this here. Really press into the soles of the feet. Lengthen out through the knees, and then lengthen out the other direction through the shoulders. And we're going to pulse for 8, 7, 6. Now use your butt for this. Push with your butt. 3, 2, and 1, and hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And relax. We'll go ahead and sit back on the chair. This next posture here is a leg strengthener. We're going to come into some standing postures, but I'm going to have you use the corner of the chair. And I see my head is cut off. Again, story of my life. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to use the corner of the chair. Legs are staggered, and I'll start with my, start with my left leg first. That back foot is turned out in an angle, and I'm just going to gently lean forward into my left leg, coming into warrior 1. So I can extend my right arm, extend my right leg, and lean into my left leg. Now, place one hand on my hip, and I can shift my hips back and forth. I want to lift up into that left hand so that I'm not sinking into the hip. I'm really rotating both hips straight ahead. As I inhale, fill the belly. As I exhale, push out with the foot, reach up with the fingertips. Inhaling and exhaling. And if you get tired, you can drop down into the chair. The benefit of the chair here is that if you do get tired, you have to drop down a little more deeply to sink into the chair. So you're dropping more deeply into the posture to get the support. And that's really where this is helpful. You can feel that you're definitely working more deeply into that left butt cheek, but it's actually a little bit easier. One more deep breath in. As we exhale, we'll open up into warrior 2. I'm going to straighten out the legs again, rotate the head over to the left, and drop down into my posture. Now here, I'm tucking the pelvis forward slightly. And see if you can push the feet apart. That will help you open up through the thighs. Again, if the legs are getting tired, you can drop a little more deeply down to the chair. One more nice deep breath in. As we exhale, we'll release the hands, come to center here. Now I'm going to come into a seated garland pose. I'm going to have a seat on the chair. Feet are as wide as I can make them. And I'm going to lean forward here. And I can walk my hips off the edge of the chair as much as I want to. The more I walk forward, the more I'm off the chair, the more difficult this becomes. So I'm going to press back just a little bit. But when we come into garland pose, we're bringing the knees as wide apart as we can. We're going to press the palms of the hands together and push the knees apart with the elbows. So as I inhale, I want to lengthen that back. As I exhale, push the knees apart. Inhale, lengthen through the back. Exhale. You can come forward here, or you can come all the way down into a full garland pose. Either way, we're lengthening through the back and we're pressing the knees apart, opening up through the hips. Now, again, when we do some of these postures, in order to open through the hips, you've got to stay relaxed. So if doing this makes you tense, and right now I have an injury in my knee, um, and this is really hard, and I'm feeling myself tensing up. So I'm going to sit back on my own chair here so that I can relax into my hip. And just soften in that hip. Feel into where it's resisting. On your next inhalation, one at a time, the hands are going to come to the knees, one at a time, and then all the way up. From here, we'll bring the knees together, and I'm going to have you just lean forward over the knees, wrap the arms around the thighs. As you inhale, lengthen out through the crown of the head. As you exhale, pull the navel to the spine and sink the feet into the floor. So when I lengthen on my inhalation, it almost feels like I'm pulling my knees away from my hips, which I am. Exhale. And we're going to make the exhalation this time a little more passive. So typically I'm encouraging you to make that exhalation active. Make this a little more passive so we can sink the feet into the floor and really feel that stretch through the sides of the hips, the sides of the thighs. And on your next inhalation, one hand at a time comes to each knee, and we'll bring the body to an upright position. I'm going to switch the chair around, and we'll get that opposite side. So I'm going to step forward here onto my right foot. That back leg is extending behind. I'm sorry, the angle here is kind of difficult. Let's see here. I'll take it from here. So that back foot is at an angle. Sorry, folks. All right. Back foot is at an angle here, and I'm dropping down onto my left foot, my right foot in front, left foot in back. So from here, I can come into a warrior one by rotating that left hip forward and extending that left arm. Now, if I want to bring both arms up, that's fine. I would start first by placing the hand on the hip. Again, we want to avoid turning into that right leg. Square off the hips, distribute the weight between both feet. And hold that warrior one. Now, if you want to, if you drop a little bit lower, you can use that chair for support. It does make you drop a little lower. You'll drop into the posture a little bit more, but the benefit there is that you get a little assistance. So on your next inhalation, we'll straighten out the legs, open up into warrior two. So arms are nice and wide. And I'm going to suggest that you rotate your palms toward the ceiling. And from here, gaze forward again. And I can gently bend that front knee as I come into warrior two. So I want a nice straight line here with the arms. And if I sit a little more deeply here, I can open up my hips a little bit more and take advantage of the support of the chair. So let's do 2 more breaths. Inhale, fill. Exhale. Last one here. And on your next inhalation, we'll step it up nice and tall. Relax through the arms and step the feet together. Now I'm going to come into a tall lunge here. And I'm just going to, again, use my chair, but this time I'm just going to place my hand on the seat of the chair, stepping back again with my left foot, and just, let's see here. Coming down onto the knee here. I can rest both hands on the hips. And I like to actually practice this one balancing for a little while because I can press the back of my shin into the floor to help with the support. But at any time, I've got my chair here. And if I want to drop a little more deeply into this lunge, this feels pretty deep, pretty intensive. But I have this chair here, and I'm just resting my hand on the chair. Another option here is to reach forward with both hands. So if this is appropriate for you, you can reach backward with that left hand and just touch the back of the thigh, or you could even bend that knee and reach for that opposite knee. So your choice here. Either way, we're going to use the chair for balance so that you're not preoccupied with the balance so much. You can feel this stretch into the hips, into the fronts of the thighs. One more deep breath in. And as we exhale now, push the foot either against the floor or against your hand. Wherever you are, press the foot either against the floor or against the hand. Feel how that helps you extend that back leg just a little bit more. One last time, deep breath in. And as we exhale, we'll just come back to an upright position. I'm just going to pull my chair back here, make things a little easier, and I'll just switch legs. So I'm going to start in that lunge position. The foot is on the floor. You can rest one or both hands on the hips. If you feel yourself leaning to one side, see if you can even that out. Another way to check for that is to look at your hands on your hips, and you want them to be straight across. So rather than an angle here, see if you can bring your hands straight across. And if you need to, use the chair to assist with this. So we can lean into this lunge a little bit further, provided the hands stay level. Otherwise, stay right where you are. As you inhale, fill the belly. As you exhale, sink the foot, sink the shin into the floor. If it's appropriate for you and you want to add a twist, you can simply reach back with your right hand to that back thigh, or you can deepen this a little bit more by reaching for that right foot. Now, again, if I'm going to do that, I want to take a look at my hips. I don't want those hips to shift so much that my left butt cheek is poking out to the side. I want to bring that left, tuck it under again, tuck that left butt cheek under again. Wherever you are, foot on the floor, foot in the hand, inhale, lengthen, exhale, push the foot into the hand or push the foot into the floor. Either way, feel that lengthening through the front of that back thigh. One more deep breath in. As we exhale, push, and then inhale. You can release, bring the body back to an upright position. And we're going to finish out today in child's pose. So we're going to just come down to the knees Sit back with the heels and just allow the head to come to the floor. So we want this to be very passive, allowing the whole body to just settle into the floor. I can bring my hands behind to my feet. If that's hard on my shoulders or my upper back, just keep them by the head. As you exhale, really make everything soft. Make everything sink into the floor. Inhale, feel the belly pushing the body away from the legs. And then exhale, just sink everything into the floor. And then from there, we'll gently come to a slightly upright position and come down onto the back for final Shavasana. And here, again, we're checking in with what we've done, checking in with the changes that we've brought about in the body. Where do you feel sensation? Because your body is automatically addressing that area. That's why you feel it. That's why you feel the heat. That's why you feel the sensation. You might feel a twitching. You might feel some fatigue. So just make a mental connection with both feet, with both ankles, with the right calf muscles and the left calf muscles, with the fronts of both thighs and both buttocks in back. Feel the hip bones in the front. Feel your lower back. Turn your attention to your lower back. Feel the weight of your upper back, shoulder blades, and shoulders resting on the floor. The weight of your upper arms. The weight of your head. And then finally, relax your throat, your jaw and mouth, and eyes. Is it possible that the whole body could synchronize? The whole body could feel evenly relaxed, yet connected with the other parts. You can remain here in silent stillness if that feels appropriate for you. Otherwise, begin to bring yourself back. Maybe some small movements with the head, just gently rocking the head side to side. Open through the hands, make a fist. Open, make a fist, and then just relax your hands. Bend your knees. Bring your feet about hip width apart and just allow the knees to rock back and forth. And whenever you're ready, just rock the knees all the way to one side. Allowing yourself to lie on that one side and then bring yourself up to a sitting position. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope this was useful for you. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of fatigue in the legs. Did a little bit of strengthening work here. So chair or no chair, that can be very challenging. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow for another edition of AM Status Hearing. Thanks again and have a wonderful day. Namaste. And there's my mouse. Have a good day.